So in this video, I'm just going to be discussing these 6 questions you'll see on screen and a few other things regarding the film poster for the movie called Adaptation. Now, as part of my movie poster analysis, this will be my third analysis of Adaptation. I'll also do the King's Speech after this, and I've got 4 movie poster analysis videos done. First of all, the main colours used. So it's got a white background with varied coloured text. So we've got green text for the title, red text for the actors' names, and black text for anything else that's either institutional or a critical review or anything like that. There are no the only symbol technically used in this poster is the fact that that is I think it's a lily flower. Let me just check a second. So after checking, it's not actually a lily, it's an orchid, because the film is actually based on Nicolas Cage, who is like the main actor in the film, trying to adapt The Orchid Thief to like a film and a production, and it's just sort of his struggle with that. So that is like the main symbol, obviously, because you're using an orchid in the actual in the poster. It's assuming that people know what the Orchid Thief is, and that's an assumption of consumer knowledge almost in that instance. I'm guessing that the pot is cracked. That's a symbol of the anxiety that he suffers with and the struggle of trying to create the non-fiction book, The Orchid Thief by Susan Orlean, into a full feature-length film. So that is obviously the symbol used. The main figures, objects, and backgrounds of the poster. Obviously, it's going to be the orchid once again, demonstrating the fact it's about the Orchid Thief, and Nicolas Cage's face featuring on the plant pot there also, helps to create that image. So, are the messages in the poster primarily visual, verbal, or both? Now, I would say it's mostly visual, down to, like, obviously, like I said, with the orchid, but you could look at the fact that the film name Adaptation sort of gives away what's going to happen as well. He's having to adapt the book into a film, so that is technically the title there, being a sort of a verbal, because a verbal cue for what the film's going to be about. Who do I think the intended audience is? I would probably say that I know it's like a comedy slash romance film. It doesn't really give this off with the poster. It doesn't tell you much about the genre. That's the only criticism I would have of it. But obviously, doing research, I figured out it's like a comedy drama, and it's also a meta film, so it's a film about a film. I wouldn't know specifically an intended audience for this. If I was going to take a guess, it'd probably be probably like parents' age, sort of around there, possibly, or fans of The Orchid Thief, the book. They might enjoy this as well. Okay, now for more along the lines of persuasive techniques that are used. There aren't really any genre conventions referred to in this poster, and that is a big criticism of it. But it's obvious that the unique selling point of the film is Nicolas Cage, as he is quite a big actor, and he is the star used on the face of the poster in an interesting way with the plant pot there to sell the film. There is an expert quotation there, which I'll zoom into now. You can see that it says... So as you can see, it says I can't say it, indescribably funny, there we go. Altogether remarkable movie from the creators of Being John Malkovich. Now, including that quote on the poster is actually quite clever, as it in turn promotes the previous film and also attracts an audience that may have enjoyed the previous film without knowing who made it, obviously. That is assuming that this will be in the same sort of style as the previous film. So this is quite an interesting way of using a quotation on a movie poster, as you've almost killed 2 birds with 1 stone by promoting your old film, but also enticing an audience to come and see it based on the old. Come see the new film based on the old film. So, other than that, what pleasures, gratifications are promised by the poster? It doesn't really say anything here. I mean, you could say that it's funny, and that it's a remarkable movie. That is the pleasure they're making there with the review, including that on the thing. That is what a consumer would expect from going to see the film. How is attention gained is mostly probably through the use of Photoshop with Nicolas Cage's face on a plant pot. That's probably the most interesting part of that poster as well. And there isn't a tagline that I can comment on, unfortunately. So for institution, how much does the poster tell you about the institutional context of the movie's production? Now, it does give us quite a lot of institutional info, which I will zoom into now. So as you can see, it tells us, obviously, the production companies involved there. You can't see it very clearly because it's quite a bad image quality, but it says Columbia Pictures Presents, so we know that Columbia are involved in this, and in association with Intermedia Film and Magna. I can't read that last bit, but it's Magna, it says. And then obviously, other than the production companies, it does include the actor names and a few of the people I assume that were involved in post-production or the production of the films, the directors and things. It does actually feature the director at the top there, Spike Jonze. Screenplay is also done by Charlie Kaufman and Donald Kaufman, so you know that all those people are involved. The institutional info also gives us an R rating. I think that's an American rating, so that would be an 18 in the UK. It also gives us sony.com/adaptation, so that website is on there as well. It's really good use of the institutional text, obviously, to get as much information in as small a space as possible. How important is this information? I'd say fairly important. I mean, the inclusion of a big film producer like Columbia is always a good thing. Having the direction and screenplay features just above the title of the film also is important. And obviously the age rating is important as well. They've also advertised well using the website as part of the institutional text, which will, promote further. So yeah, it has been used very effectively. How expensive was the poster to produce? Probably not very expensive. It's a basic Photoshop poster. Often with this, I mean, you wouldn't have to. All you'd have to do is get a picture of Nicolas Cage's face, and all they'd have to do is smash a plant pot. So the relative cost of this would be low. Critical evaluation time. So is this a good poster? I do believe this is a good poster. I think it's simple but effective in the fact that they've advertised well using a symbol, and the title and the actors' names are clear. However, it doesn't communicate effectively the genre of the to the audience. You would only be able to figure that out by the review at the top. Are there any alternative readings? I don't think there are necessarily. Maybe the inclusion of anxiety is quite difficult to render from just looking at the film poster, so that could be another criticism of it, and it's not offensive in any way. So basically, the only criticism I have of this film is that it doesn't convey genre that well, or the topic of anxiety, but it does entice an audience, and it does get people, thinking about what the film could be about due to the interesting Photoshop used. So that is my analysis of the film poster Adaptation. So thank you for watching.